What's up, guys? This is Hyce, and welcome to Office Hours for, ROCKTober 2024. We didn't do one last month, unfortunately. We didn't stream at all last month, but we're getting back to it. So here we are. Today we're going to be answering all of your random esoteric railroad questions, as we all enjoy. So good to see everybody showing up here tonight. So we'll see how long we end up streaming. Obviously, it's end of month, and therefore there are many, but I wanted to make sure that we could get this one tucked in here. So first and foremost, I see from Jordan Freeman, can we get a Hyce Reacts to MXC? I think there might be some copyright challenges with that, but I do love that show so much. It just screams my childhood, so, and college. We had a great drinking game for that during college. So anyway, I wish we could do it, but it'd be fun. Lag? Everyone's saying lag? Don't you do this to me, Comcast. Is it better? Looks okay on my end now. So, shrug. Anyway, I see that Blues Crew is here, gifting 5 memberships. Thanks, Blues Crew. So is David B1998. Appreciate both you guys. More members means more people get videos early access, and we love that. So Christian Schluter, 14 months as an engineer. Good to see you, buddy. Good evening, Hyce. You posted the Slow-Mo Guys email teaser today. Are you going to explore anything else in addition to whistles? I'm super excited for the video, and I'm wondering if you've got anything else up your sleeve. I have a list of things that I want to do. I'm very excited by this. I would literally, I was chatting with another channel member about purchasing a whistle earlier today, and as we were just randomly chatting, I was mentally doing other tasks, and I checked my email and went, oh, that's an email back from the Slow-Mo Guys! So they emailed me back, and yeah, they want to come out and film next time they're out in Golden, which we're not sure exactly when that's going to be, but very exciting. My short list of things, it's not a final list. Whistle, safety valve, snifters, violent wheel slip starting, which I asked Jeff about, and he said that we could do it, so okay. And then the big ticket is, and we'll have to get approval, and this is going to have to be quite the coordinated thing. I really want to see an oil burner, and we don't have any oil burners that run, so either we're going to take an oil burner and set it up in a firebox of, we've got a boiler that's not used anymore, 111's old boiler that's now at the Georgetown Loop, or we'll just make a flamethrower in the parking lot if we can get approval to do so. And watch that thing turn on. So that's kind of the list of stuff that's in my head. If anyone else has got other ideas, let me know. I'd love to see them. I guess before I jump... Oh, my goodness, let me get all these top chats, and then we'll jump into Discord. But good question, Christian. Nathaniel Lombardi gifting 10 memberships. Thank you, my friend. 84mer was loading up Stationeers and saw the ping immediate change in plans. By the way, I should try Stationeers out. Evil grin. Not familiar. I'll have to look into it. Arctic Grey Wolf, thanks for gifting 5 memberships. And Sath Hale, maybe? Sorry. Also gifting 10 memberships. Thank you. Goodness. We're turning the chat green today. Nice and early. So... yes. Cork Qatar, Brakeman for 22 months. 50 characters is really short for me. Hi, Hyce. Yes, it is really short for you. It's usually 50 sentences, I think. But it's always fun to read your comments, because you always add such a great extra little thing, an extra additional context. So, anyway, I'm going to jump into Discord. We have Corey and John. Hey, guys.
Oh. Hello.
Poof.
Hello.
You're live. You're on the air.
I didn't realize you started streaming yet.
Oh, yeah. We're here. And now a caboose.
Whoa.
Anyway, as always, we're going through. I've still got, let's see, how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of pre-asked questions, and I'd like to get through those today if we can. Of course, top chats and everything, I'll definitely get those, but we'll try to be bouncing back and forth. Zimzam, my friend, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Appreciate you. I was cleaning up the house last evening, getting ready for Lady Friend to move in, which is very exciting, and starting that process. And I found the SN3 Splody Boy carrier that you made me. It was in an ADHD Doom pile of train things under the stairs. But now it's not. Now it's up here. So I need to get trucks for that. Anyway, thank you, my friend. Railroad Preserver 2000 with commas. Welcome to the Brakeman. Thank you. Okay. Oh, hang on. Play only Hyce songs, please. I don't want to have copyright problems. Come on, Spotify. Don't be garbage. Okay, there we go. Oh, interesting. Rex Anger, a slow-mo X-ray view of an injector starting would be wild to see. You can kind of guess what the cones are up to based on the clatter and steam water spitting out the overflows, but it'd be neat to see a thing. I'm not sure if you could get a camera where you'd actually be able to see that. I guess you could take the delivery line off and you could see the last nozzle. That might be a thing for the list. That's a great idea. I don't know if you'd see much, but that's a cool one. Thank you. Yeah. Cheers, Rex. Mainline through the Rockies, Brakeman 23 months, spreading the good word of the standard gauge. You got to do it. See? It's over there.
Oh,
There's
yes,
a lot of standard gauge over that. And Cedar Valley Rail upgrading to fireman. Thank you. Okay, so starting off with the pre-asked questions, this was one that popped up in Discord from user Watkin. he wants to know how smoke flows through the locomotive. You thought the flues were straight through, past maybe under the boiler to an open area front where it just goes up the stack, but the video of opening the smoke box door seems to imply otherwise. Great question, and I pulled up a series of images to help with answer this question. I should probably pull my Google Photos over here. Okay, so this is what 346 looked like before we shipped it to Durango with a ton of stuff removed. So your tubes are in here. It's a tube if it doesn't carry a superheater. If it carries a superheater, then it's a flue. They would be going through these holes between the tube sheets. The firebox is that end. This is the smoke box, and this is with all the junk removed. Okay, so now we're going to start adding some junk in. Let's see, I've got a sequence of images here. So this is now 20. Here we have the smoke box. You can see the tubes are in this one, of course, because it's 20. This is the blast nozzle itself with a Starbucks cup put in it to make sure nothing gets dropped down it. This is the actual nozzle. You can see how it tapers down and causes a buildup of pressure that causes then that normal shockwave. These are your branch pipes or your steam delivery pipes with the big T up there from the dry pipe. And the first two baffles are in. So these are two baffles. This is what's called a master mechanics front end. Not every engine has this. It depends on what kind of locomotive it is. Drink. But coal burning engines, this is a very common setup. I'm drinking for it myself. I said it depends. Anyway, so these are the first two baffles that go in. And then we get a table plate that goes on and around the nozzle and the branch pipes as well. So they all bolt up together. And then there's cute little nubbins that 20 has to make sure that the branch pipes are totally sealed off. And when the whole table plate and then the whole set of baffles is in, you can't see a single tube, basically, when you look in from the front. And then let's see, continuing on, la 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 la. That's a look down. That's the nozzle itself.
D and RGW.
Oh yeah, because the Rio Grande did a lot of the work on 20, and they cast new parts for it. So if we can tell that she had new branch pipes cast at some point, and new cylinders by the Rio Grande, because they owned and operated the RGS at one point. Oh, nice. Above the blast nozzle is the petticoat, which helps draft. It's bolted up top and down bottom here on the table plate and up at the top of the smoke box. That shape causes the velocity to increase before you go up the stack itself. That's the inside of the smokestack here. And so this helps with your draft situation. Depending on where you put this height-wise, you can see that it's just a slot, and you can raise and lower it. It will increase or decrease the draft in the actual fire. And that's more stuff. You can see underneath. This is now the blower pipe is now in. So the blower is not in. Now the blower's in. It's just this pipe here. It just ends. It's just a pipe that aims up the stack. That's all it is. Some engines have a crazy cool setup, which I realized I didn't put in the 2716 video. We can pull that up in just a sec. But it's got an actual blower ring, but very RGS. Hey, we welded a piece of bullshit on the end of a pipe and called it a day. So that's all the blower is. It's just a pipe.
Nice.
And then it's got a union right there, and it goes outside. And now here's the big cinder screen in. So everything is now going underneath that table plate, because it's going to hit the first two baffles, or it's going to go underneath. It's going to go around the branch pipes. And then with the screen, there also get these cute little fangs that go down. And I think, is that about all the pictures in a row? When I put these in last, I made sure I took all these pictures. Okay, there's one more. And then you get the inspection screen there. So all of the coal particulates, the gas has to hit that, go down around through this gap here, which depending on these fins in this area also will change your draft. And then it goes up the inside of the smoke box door. That's why the inside of the smoke box door on the Rio Grande engines has that finned scrubber, is to break up those particulates. And then it goes through the screen, up through the petticoat, or around the petticoat, up and out the stack. There you go. So that's a Master Mechanics front end setup. Great question. It takes quite a bit more than you'd think. Oil burners, you typically have the petticoat, the blast nozzle, and none of this crap, because you don't run into that problem. Speaking of, we have more reference for this. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this question, but I have so much like actual reference for it, so it's like, why not? Let me scroll through and find that, because they had me play inside the 2716, which has a Master Mechanics front end, although part of it's out from the look of it. The baffles are out, but there's the table plate, big blast nozzle and everything. But here's the blower ring. It's an actual pipe that they curled around and then drilled a bunch of holes in, so you get an even draft out the stack, not the stupid Rio Grande Southern or DNRGW. We aim to pipe out the stack and it makes it work, which is fun. So, and then one more. This is about the same time I could show you an oil burner front end because it was broken and we had to fix it. And that would have been June or May of 2023. Yeah. Here is the front end in the Abilene and Smoky Valley 3415, former Santa Fe 3415. It did have this box above the blast nozzle and then the petticoat with some louvers on it, which is a little different, but then behind it there was nothing. And you can see why we were in there to help fix something. It popped a superheater flue when we test ran it, helping them out. So Brett and I got subcontracted by the Durango and Silverton to do some mechanical work for them. And that was a fun trip. I was hoping to make videos about it, but I never did. Because the story was not good, because the choo-choo was not okay. It was a sad choo-choo. We got from one end of the line to the other, and it popped a superheater flue after we had just put another one in, so the one next to it broke. But now it's down for its 1472. They made it through their season, and the guys out there were super, super nice, and now they've actually got really big backing, and they're going to be working on getting this engine back in service again when they're done, so pretty exciting stuff there. So anyway, I see a bunch of top chats have come in the midst here, so let me go through those. Sir Liv, fireman for 7 months, PM me a railroad spooky story if I want, and there's time. Awesome. Question, how easy is it to tamper with safety valves so they won't lift and the boiler blows from overpressure, and would the crew notice? It would be pretty challenging for anyone to not notice, because you'd have to be on top of the locomotive with some wrenches. And if you're under steam and you're messing with the safety valve, anyone who's ever set safeties will tell you how not fun that is and nerve-wracking it is, because if it's anywhere near lifting and you touch any of the adjustment, there's a lock nut and then the adjustment nut. If you mess with the adjustment at all and you unlock it, you might get the safety opened and then it will never shut. And that's how you make the crescent wrench space program, which is not ideal. I've seen it happen. Former management, had the wrench. It's like, well, we're never seeing that again. Hopefully, it doesn't hit any planes. So yes, I think everyone
unidentified flying object.
I think everyone would notice. 80 former, by the way, excited for Dero Valley Build 99. Slobodan said this morning that November 14th or 19th is the likely release date. Oh, sweet. They would pick days that I am out of the state. Hopefully it's the 19th. If you want to put a good word in there, Slobodan, I won't be around to pump it up until I'm back on the 17th of November. But the 13th to the 17th, I'm visiting family back in Seattle because I'm going to my dad's wedding. Fun stuff.
Oh.
So, yeah. So I'm going to be not with a computer for a little bit there. Anyway. Solaris Long Hauler Rail fan. Hey, Hyce, did I see the B&O #1 and the John Q. Adams in Ohio? I did not. B&O, the John Q. Quincy Adams is in Ohio? I didn't know that. Huh. Anyway. Oh. 80 former. Sorry, 14th, 15th, not 19th. You don't know where the 19th came from? Fine. I'll play it when I get back. It's fine. DAC 1096, the cinders basically sandblast everything. Am I wrong? Yes, they do. They are really, 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 really big particle sandblaster crap. That's why 820 has new branch pipes. It's because they had been worn through at one time. Yeah, it's pretty violent. 346 actually has guards on hers that were pieces of sheet metal that could be sacrificial so that the fancy casting doesn't get ruined. So cinders are, they're a big time. So anyway. Rucker Lambison, hello Professor Hyce. In a recent video you mentioned whistles designed for superheated steam versus non-superheated steam. Are there certain whistle types, chimes only function with superheated steam? How does this affect the sound? I wouldn't say there's any that's only ever designed for superheated steam. I wouldn't say that is like a guarantee. The sound is very different because superheated steam is so hot. And so, I mean, when you think about the pressure and the temp and everything, it's pretty significantly different. It was quite interesting to me. I saw the big boy last week, was it? Whatever. Last Tuesday, I think, when it was Family Day. I went. A good friend of mine invited me, and I was his cousin. But anyway, we went and looked at it, and they blew the whistle as it was sitting there, and it'd been sitting there all day. There was no superheated steam to be found. And it sounded like when we had a Hancock 3 on 491 the one time. It didn't sound anything like it does when it's, in your face usually. So, there's a lot more like presence and authority to a whistle that's blown on superheat. I mean, it's because you're really, really likely to overblow the whistle, if anything. So it's a fair bit more spicy sounding, if you will. That and the less actual water content in the superheated steam, because superheat is totally absence of water, right? That's how you define it. Because of that, the speed of sound in that fluid is so different that it changes the pitch and all that, and it's a very different timbral difference. If you shoot me an email or something, I can try and find you videos of the same whistle on saturated and superheat, and you can hear it. I wish I had a video of the big boy doing it, because it was like, that's interesting. So anyway, great question, and thank you so much. Average Modeler gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, my friend. Person 723, hey Hyce, do you plan on doing a railcar air brake valve 101 showing the different types and everything? I should. That's a great idea. I will put that on my Trello. Not sponsored. And that's frustrating software anyways. Railcar brakes.
I have a completely off-topic question.
Sure. What's up?
How much of a hint can we give of something we're doing in the background?
You can hint as much as you want.
I've had a lot of people asking me recently in the Discord about like what we were talking about, and I'm just like, I don't know how much I can speak. So
all right.
I didn't want to give it all away.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I see Rex has pinged me with a couple things. Unfortunately, the 18 is not running superheated steam on the whistle, but thank you for the reference. Let's see. Dave's Fine Scale, happy hump day, Mark. Excited for the slow-mo collab and potential new 6-chime purchase. I know. I'm excited. You think you'll be able to get Firebox or Smokebox dynamic shots without cooking a pricey high-speed camera? Firebox, yes. Smokebox, I don't think we can do. Smokebox, there's... The function of it with it open doesn't really work. So it's a whole thing. Although watching the stack might be interesting as one chuff happens. That could actually be kind of neat. Like the first chuff that's got a lot of crap with it. That might be interesting. And I was just thinking, well, we'd have to get the camera up there, but we have a man basket with a telehandler. We can put cameras wherever. Cool. Anyway, yeah, definitely want to make sure that we're not cooking the, 6-figure cameras. Solaris, there's videos on it if I'm interested. I'll have to check them out. Thank you. Census Sean, what is my opinion on TCS products and the sound files on their decoders? Spoilers, I used to work for them. I did some contract work for TCS a long while ago. It was probably it was before 2020. Say it's probably 7 years ago. if you have one of their Baldwin Diesel sound files, like the VO1000 or something, all of the Baldwin Diesel prime mover sounds were made by me. Well, they recorded them, I edited them, but that's where I learned a lot about sound design and things. Great people over there. They actually sent me to do a review video, and I'm probably going to do it next month sometime. I've got one of their DCC systems downstairs. They sent it to me, and they wanted me to just give it an honest review. They didn't give me a contract. They didn't sponsor a video, so I'm just going to try it out and see what I think. So I've not used the system yet, but I've had and seen engines with WoW Sound. I mean, honest to God, WoW Sound's pretty freaking good. You know, before soundtracks came out with the Blue Nami stuff, I would say the TCS stuff was probably some of the best. Although Loc Sound is also really cool with how you can load, you know, all kinds of different sounds too. So I mean, the game has been really modernizing there. So the TCS stuff is really cool. They were early on being really cool, I think, though. So I want to say in my 491, I can't remember. I'd have to ask Jeff, who built it, or put it on a layout at some point and actually program it. I'm pretty sure I have WoW Sound in 491. So yeah. Anyway. Nowhere Man, 16 months, Brakeman, all reg for the TM Triennial. Plan a video about it? Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'll be there for the Triennial. It's going to be fun. So that's next July, I think, right? Yeah. It's going to be a fun one. Zerg Smasher Gaming, Brakeman, 13 months. Hey, Hyce, how goes the work on 491 and 346? 491's, presumably she squeezed well. Shrug. We finished the annual... pretty much as far as I'm aware. I think all the tasks are done. I helped get the throttle finished, lapped up and everything just last time I was at the museum, basically, on Friday. I think it was on Friday. Yeah, on Friday. So it's pretty much there on that. Of course, she needs the springs still. Sounds like the springs are going to be here in a couple weeks, along with some lovely folks from the Durango and Silverton who are going to help us out. So yeah, it's... she's getting there, and 346, they're working on it. I have no update. TrueNub Gaming, hey Hyce, hope everything's going well. You're going on a Colorado tour next May. Cumbrace, Toltec, DNS, possibly the museum. When you make it to the Durango and Silverton, will 346 still be there? I was hoping when you get on your trip, you'd get to meet Grandma. You probably will still see her there. I don't think she would be back by then, based on all the work that they have and the timeline they quoted us. So almost assuredly, she'll still be there. So yeah, she might be in the shop where you can't see her, and she may not look like her. But you're more than welcome, you know, if you see her, go say hi. So long as it's a place you can publicly access, of course. Nitro, Conductor, 8 months. 2141 consolidation is going to be under Steam again in the Okanagan sub up here in BC. They got kicked out of their shop. Well, that's a bummer. Huh. You don't like getting kicked out of your shop, but engine under Steam is cool. So... Solaris, and it would be nice if Super Chat would stop guessing what you're trying to say. Goodness, I don't know what YouTube's doing these days. That is strange. I don't know what to tell you, but thank you. Louisville Rail Fan, Evening Hyce, love the Kishko content. What was the most interesting thing you found out about the 2716/Superpower Berks during my visit? That's a good question. I mean, I knew about the tandem rod set up already, thanks to Glenn Holland, because we walked around the 763. I didn't know how it exactly was set up mechanically, like Jason told me. I think the booster was the longest run question that I really wanted answered, along with the feed water heat. Nothing was terribly like super surprising, but I guess probably the way that the main rod's got the bushing pressed in it and the fits of the brasses and everything was really interesting. So probably that, but glad you enjoyed the content. Top Speed Train, Fireman for 19 months. Why do locomotive engines not have 10, 14, or 18 cylinders? No idea. Couldn't tell you. That is fantastic question. Usually they're 12 or 16 cylinder. I don't know why you wouldn't do any. I mean, I'm sure you could make engines work like that. More than 16, you get into the twisty cranky problem, as EMD found out with the SD45s and the 20-cylinder engines that almost all got swapped out, of course. But I don't know.
If I may, I would imagine it has to do with how the forces...
The forces, and then he cuts
14.
out. Yeah, I guess, firing order, maybe? Keeping things balanced on the crank, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you could come up with something that would work, but... Sure.
Yeah, but why go through all that trouble if you can just get a 12?
I guess so. Fair enough to me, but yeah, that's the best we got. Anyway, good question. Jordan Freeman, we need another Curse Trains live stream. Oh, God. We should do another one of those. We still have a list of stuff. Maybe tomorrow night we're doing the Hallow stream or the live scream, depending on for Brett, if we use Brett's branding or mine. So that's going to be fun, but maybe we'll get into some of that depending on how all that stuff turns out. Shrug. A101A conductor for 25 months. 25 months more to go. Did you know the SP proposed a fourth class of 410-2s in addition to the 49 that were built IRL? I didn't. I knew that they made 410-2s and that like 5021 survives and they're kick-ass engines, but I had no idea that they were going to make some more, potentially. Could have been neat. Rucker Lamberson, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. Oh, and while we're thinking of memberships and perks and things, if you guys have been interested in Hyce merch, make sure you check the description. We got a special free shipping code on the store that's running through the 1st in honor of spooky season. So make sure you check that link. It'll save you some shipping stuff. Obviously, international shipping is still being worked on. We're not there yet. But if you're in the U.S., it's free shipping. So anyway. Conktech, good evening again. Thoughts on playing Void Train again? Story Chapter 2 is just released and the gameplay has been heavily updated since I last touched it with Con. Interesting. Maybe we'd give it a go. I don't think we'd do it for YouTube, probably. The videos did really poorly, and it was an okay game then, but if it's been updated, it'd be fun to give it another go. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Oh, now, of course, the top chats come here. It's like, I can go to the other ones, but no. All right. DAC1096, would you, in theory, be able to run a steam engine like 491 on propane with some conversions? Not very well. Propane doesn't quite have enough heat density to be used on most larger locomotives. Usually, like, even diesel is not enough on some engines. You usually need a fuel oil. With 491, though, she's got such a big-ass firebox, maybe you could get enough. I don't know. That'd be interesting, but typically you don't see it used on anything full size because the heat scaling, you really need some more heat out of that. Like even diesel is uncommon. The Knots engines are the only ones that I'm aware of that size that burn diesel, that do pretty well. So, Chris Skelling, 2 years. There you go. Just wasting a milestone chat to say woo woo. Love that. Thank you for being a brakeman for 2 years. And Blackbird Gaming. Goodness, we haven't seen you in a minute, buddy. Gifting 10 memberships. Thank you. Awesome, guys. Okay. Pre-asked questions. We're going back to those. I've seen another questions come in, but we're going to keep going. Let's see. Colorado Train Nerd asks, will I make a model railroad or could I make a 1 foot by 1 foot Z-scale railroad on a live stream? I don't have any Z-scale things, and that seems very small and fiddly for my skills, as it were. But I will probably make model railroad stuff more, and Build a World stuff will be coming back, hopefully next month. So, shrug. We'll get there. Jerry's Garden, tractors, engines. How do you get a job with the railroad with no prior railroad experience? You put in applications with CN along with 2 of your local short lines, and while you did interview with CN and one of the short lines, both interviews were for Carmen positions, neither of them were interested, and the other short line accused you of having an incomplete resume. Oh, yucky. You're sure to email them saying that the gap in your resume was a result of being unemployed for over 2 years, but they never responded back. Joys of companies. With railroads, I mean, typically, if they're in a hiring... It depends on whether they want to hire or fire people at the time, honest to God. There were times when I was at BNSF back in 2017, 2018 at our shop where we couldn't get enough people, and we were hiring just about anybody we could to get folks set up as apprentices and everything. But sometimes when the railroad's not necessarily hiring, they might be more picky about who you do. The biggest thing is try and get related skills that might help, pad out that resume. If you want to be a carman, learn to weld, that kind of stuff. Make sure you've got some other kind of mechanical knowledge, know-how, something on your resume, and that'll help you out. If you want to be train crew, I mean, just good luck and apply. I mean, it's the nature of the industry that it is intrinsically challenging sometimes, but I hope it works out for you, man. All right, guys, I'm going to do 3 more pre-asked questions, then we'll go back to the top chats. Octopat, I'm looking at a job at the Mount Washington Cog Railway, but it continues to elude you for either cash or reality reasons. Any suggestions on how to make it happen, or should I give up? It's been stressy, but I want to do it because it's a dream job. Feel free to give your thoughts. That is the unfortunate reality of preservation gigs, is that they're usually not super high paying. I wouldn't even say they're usually average paying. The average of the industry is probably a little bit below the norm for many gigs, and a lot of places are minimum wage, and that's the unfortunate kind of reality. It is a bit of a sacrifice to do that sort of thing typically, so that's hard. You know, you have to be able to do what you have to be able to do and take care of you. I would definitely advocate to give it a go for a little bit, you know, get some savings and try it out and see how you like it and see if it works, see if it fits, and say that you've been able to do the thing. But sometimes the way reality be, sometimes it may not be something that you can do as your full-time gig, you know, because the way that the world be. So that's a tough one, but best of luck. Matt Trains, am I going to be building an HO scale layout with modules? Yes or no? I do need to build a module still. I'm part of a module club, and I've got some ideas for some modules. I just need the spare 4 seconds to, you know, build them. But that's on the list of projects. It's a medium. It might be on a back burner. It might not even be on the stove. But I do want to do that. Crystal Rock 18, why does Alfred Perlman of the New York Central Railroad hate steam locomotives so much? Alfred Perlman, yes, the man, the myth, the scrapped all of the choo-choos on the New York Central and the Rio Grande, basically. It's an understandable viewpoint for him to have had at the time. He was very forward-looking and hated steam locomotives and thought they were antiquated and wanted to get the latest and greatest and the newest technology. He looked at steam locomotives like you might look at your old laptop that you've had for 15 years that barely runs anything. You want the new computer and you want to be able to do the thing. You don't want to have to deal with a piece of crap. So that was kind of the way he looked at it, which is why he did some of the stuff. Obviously, we have many opinions on that man in preservation, of course, because he got rid of some of our favorite choo-choos. Bastard, but that's the way it be. I mean, they're running a business. I was guilty when I was at BNSF when we had SW 1500s come into the shop. It was like, can we just scrap this fucking thing?
You monster.
I know, I was a monster, I was the problem. But, to be fair, they caused me unending problems. We had, it was the GN 3436 by Reporting Mark. They changed the reporting marks back to GN for stuff, for like switchers and weird things for some damn reason. It came into the shop and it needed wheels, so it got a re-wheel, and there are special traction motors because different boxes, so it was a special kind of D78. And then 11 months later, it comes in and it gets written up for a re-wheel by the machinist. And it turns out that in 11 months, the yard had flat spotted and shelled out the wheels so bad that we had trued them so many times that they cut through 3-inch thick tires in 11 months.
Jeez.
It's just like they were beating the crap out of these things. And that was when they did use them. We'd get calls from the yard all the time. Hey, you got an RCL over there? And I'm like, no, I don't. You have all of yours. Well, these two just broke and we don't have any other ones. I'm like, well, you have the 3436, the 3422, and the 3439. And they're like, yeah, but those are pieces of shit. We don't use them. It's like, great. So, yeah, they rode those things hard and put them away wet. So, yeah, I was guilty of a little bit of Perlman opinions, because when you're in there and they're not doing the job, there you go. You look at it different when you're part of the business, and that's the responsibility. So, obviously now in preservation, I look back and I go, that was kind of a shitty mentality to have. But they caused me problems day in and day out, so. Anyway, card scientist. Fireman for 2 months. Hey, Hyce. What determines what number driver the main rod connects to? On 8-driver engines, you've seen it connect to the 2 and sometimes to the 3. It's all part of the design, and I believe like the biggest thing is it depends on driver diameter and the length of the rod. You basically want to make sure that the main rod is long enough that you don't run into the 346 waddling problem. because 346 connects on the 2, and I mean the aspect ratio of the rod, how much up down it does versus how much forward back and how long it is, all of that weight is getting slung up and down because it just was stupid for them to connect on the number 2. But when you talk about like something like a Northern with 80-inch drivers, that main rod would be absurdly long and would have to be extremely stiff in order to not bend or break to connect on the number 3, because that is so much bigger, because the drivers are so huge. So you typically see things like that connecting on the number 2. So smaller drivers tend to see it on the number 3. Bigger drivers, you tend to see it on the number 2, and they're just trying to balance the size of the rod, how long it is, how strong it needs to be, all that kind of stuff.
East Broadtop number 7, which is essentially a C19, was built with it on the second driver set, and one of the rebuilds they actually swapped it to the third driver set with a new rod.
I am not surprised. I'm really not surprised, because people have posted it. It's a video clip somebody snagged and made a funny edit of me running 346, and I'm getting bounced around as she works up the hill. So, yeah, it's interesting. A person 723, a lot of the Fairbanks Morse opposed piston engines, and most of the old country knockoffs are 10-cylinder. Interesting. Huh. Well, yeah, I guess opposed piston. Yeah, you're getting into weird, special, strange designs, anyways. But that's fascinating. Thank you. Blackbird Gaming. There he is. Member for 28 months as an engineer. Usually burn marine diesel in Ventura County number 2, and it does pretty well. Granted, we never really pull tonnage with it, but it does what you ask it to. That makes sense. And I used to look down at diesel because I'd only ever heard the Knott's engines running it. And then when they rebuilt 41 at the Durango and Silverton and ran it with just straight diesel, they put tonnage behind the thing and beat the piss out of it, breaking it in, and it kept right up. And it's like, huh, I wouldn't expected that out of diesel. That's pretty impressive. So it does better than you'd think, but definitely, has quite a bit more heat than propane at least. So yep. Solaris. Go ahead.
Plus, oil-fired stuff can be really finicky about what fuel you give it. I know Mount Rainier actually broke some stay bolts because they had bad oil that didn't burn right.
That would be not ideal. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Anyway. Solaris. Anyone else having this word spell check adding spaces when trying to type? That is annoying as hell. It seems like everyone else is doing okay. Maybe refresh your YouTube app or your browser, whatever you're using. Shrug. Thank you. Rex Anger, engineer 17 months. Rex was a turnip with a few years experience on 2-foot tourist trains when he got hired as a railroad, so diddly squat as far as rail experience went. 3 years later, here he is. Keep persisting if you want to do the thing. Well said. Sometimes it's a process, but yeah, you can do it. Gariel 23, fireman 14 months. Do you ever have a favorite Texas type or any 10-driver locomotive for the matter? You personally enjoy the ATSF 5011s. I do love the Santa Fe Texases. They're great looking locomotives. I'd have to agree with you. It just like that size of locomotive, a 210-4, just crazy looking. I think I do like the Texas and Pacific ones a little better with the big Alesco. So cool. Yeah, with the big Alesco on the front, it's just a move. Like, it's just a mood. Just a cool looking engine. And then, of course, I will summon Auntie if I do not talk about a Pennsylvania Railroad J1, which is the Penzi Big 210-4, which looks like a Penzi engine, but just stretch. They're cool. So, yeah, of the ones that exist, I pretty much like them all. Wild Game 69, when are they moving New York Central 3001, and where is it going? I have no idea. That's a great question for the folks at Fort Wayne. Patrick McNeely said the yard was beating the locomotives like you would with a rental car. Yeah, yes, they drove it like they stole it, very much so. Arctic Grey Wolf, as far as working with the railroads, persistence is the key. Your brother got on with BNSF as a conductor and eventually became an engineer before passing away. I'm sorry to hear that about your brother, but glad he got some chance, time with the railroad and got to be an engineer. It must have been cool. Ethan Locke, have I seen Chris Eden Green's review documentary of the Rio Grande Mikados? 491 is in it. I have. I wasn't with the museum when he filmed it, unfortunately. That was before I did all the YouTube thingies, but it was it's fun to see. His productions are fantastic. He did say the K-37s were converted, and he got a couple details between the K-36 and the K-37 mixed up. But, I understand doing any flavor of content, you are bound to get some things wrong, so I totally get it, and I hold no judgment. Lord knows I get crap wrong all the time. Rails to fail, 7 months already, have fun. Anyway, why are some steam engines better with oil than others after being converted to it? Depends on how they set up the airflow. It depends. Drink. Depends on the airflow setup, the geometry of the firebox, all that. If they don't get things set up quite right, might be finicky, might not steam well enough. If they get it set up right, might be super easy, might be super free steaming. It just kind of depends. It's a nuanced thing to make sure all this stuff gets done right. Zimzam, Western Maryland I-2 Decapod, the best 10 coupled. I see you posted a picture. That is a great looking engine. The Western Maryland engines just look so cool. Very plain, but brutish. It's cool.
Yeah, below 25 miles an hour, it'll outpull a Challenger.
I believe it. Oh, I gotta put it on stream. Oops. Yeah, goodness. What a nice looking engine. David B, 1998, you just ordered the tricolor shirt with the code. Awesome, man. Thank you. Glad you'll be repping the tricolor. It's fun. Brew sent some steam locomotives. You'll have missed the last stream. I'm trying to blitz through these. I got questions to get through. We'll see if we get a chance to take a look at them. Thank you, though. True Dub Gaming, Texas and Pacific 610 Supremacy. It's a great looking engine. Person 723, have you seen the CN/NW 1015? Currently a sad choo-choo, but you've heard it's pretty much next in line for a cosmetic. I've not seen it. Shrug. CN/NW number 1015. That's Colorado and Northwestern, right? Not Colorado. Chicago and Northwestern. 723. Let's take a look-see. When I search for it, I don't find pictures. So send me one in Discord somewhere. Celestial Caboose. Some of the CP210-4s were streamlined. Bitchin'. Cool. Railroad Preservation 2000. I think there'll be a collab with History in the Dark. Also, what would it take to start a railroad museum today? Goodness. Watch the Kentucky Steam video. We talk about a railroad preservation group rather than a museum specifically, but there's a lot that goes into starting one, and it depends on a lot of things. So, yeah, I'd recommend you start there and kind of hear what Jason had to say about them, because they're a relatively recent group, starting within the last 10 years, basically. And collab with History in the Dark. I'm not sure. We've never talked about it. So, shrug. Mike Squires, we use a Jet A in your oil burners with a burner similar to a Von Boden minus the ribbed underbite. They produce well enough heat for what you need. There you go. I really want to film a Von Boden in slow-mo. And Jordan Freeman, you got a soft spot for the QJ. They are cool. All right. Pre-asked questions. The man formerly known as a commie. Or com? C-O-M-M-E. Shrug. In your opinion, why is the Rio Grande narrow gauge far more popular than the NFLD/CN Newfoundland narrow gauge, despite Newfoundland narrow gauge being bigger and outlasting the Rio Grande's narrow gauge operations? Probably because the Rio Grande stuff still runs and people can go see it. Like, that's the big thing. Why is it so well known? Because you can go ride behind the Durango and Silverton, and it's pretty easy to get to. It's a destination. It's a fun ride. It's spectacular. It's pretty. And it's still here. And so people see that and can go get a piece of it and understand it. I'm not familiar with the Newfoundland narrow gauge, but Colorado is a little easier to get to than Newfoundland, I'd figure. And it's still here. I don't know if the Newfoundland stuff is or not, but if people get a touchstone, that's why they get excited about stuff. A person 473, why didn't the U.S. give the K-28s back to the DNRGW after World War II? They were going to, and they beat the shit out of them so bad that the Rio Grande said, we don't want them. They all made it down to Seattle. One made it to Utah, and the Grand saw it and had it scrapped because they were just not worth it, and the traffic was declining. They were trying to kind of start abandoning the railroad anyway at that point. They started the downcline, so they didn't want more choo-choos to deal with, so they said no. Person 723, it's an ES&D engine crew. Thank you. Wow, that is tired looking. Yeah, cosmetic resto on that puppy would be very, very nice. Oh, cool. It's got the canned cylinders like the 444 that's at Forney Museum. That thing is hammered. Wow. Was it in a fire? Or did it just get its asbestos abated and then never get cleaned? Poor Choo Choo. But yeah, a cosmetic would be great for that thing. Solarius, if you ever get to Chattanooga, Tennessee and get to TVRM, they have few steamers in service. I've been to TVRM in 2021 before I did the YouTube. But yeah, I want to get back out there and see those engines. Yeah, I missed their steam season by like 2 weeks. It was annoying. Anyway. Nielsen Connect. How did Brett fit in those tiny stock cars in the last 2 vlogs? With a shoehorn and judicious application of lubricant. No, he just crawled in and fit. It's fine. Banana Up. What does the Railroad Museum pay? I don't think I'm allowed to speak about that. Depends on the position as well. So, I mean, drink. Depends what you do. But it's a non-profit, so the focus is trying to keep the thing running and doing the thing and all that. So it's it is not a it's not a crazy super high pay. It's not a job in tech, put it that way. Bros 4449. What is the most ludicrous story of a piece of equipment at the museum that isn't a locomotive? I don't know. Most ludicrous, crazy story? I don't honestly know. I can't think of a specific story that's like, that's crazy. Shrug. Yeah. Southern 207 Hobbies. What is the oddest steam locomotive or locomotives I've run? The JNL 58 for full-size stuff. 2-foot gauge, but still. The thing was freaking wacky. The throttle. It's the worst throttle I've ever dealt with. Props to those guys for dealing with that thing day in and day out. For a steam locomotive overall, that the steam jalopy, the number one or the one spot at Hillcrest, that thing was just bizarre. If you watch the grand scale railroading video back, or any of the Hillcrest vlog videos, it's in there. It just a goofy vertical boiler, wacky thingy. Yeah, super neat. I'm gonna try and get through this page. 3 more questions, folks, and then we'll go back to top chats. Complex Canvas. What is the oddest superstition I've experienced or heard of on the railroad? Oddest superstition. I've heard of superstitions. Plenty. I mean, railroaders are all superstitious. Specifically odd? I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, of course, ours is putting the binky on the choo-choo, letting the choo-choo go night-night, but yeah. Oh boy, everybody. We're getting a drink for this one. RailBuff89. What is my favorite steam locomotive? We get this every time. I don't have one. I can't pick one. And honest to God, of the 3 engines that we have at the museum, they're all so important to me in different ways that I couldn't even pick. Like, not even jokingly, like, oh, they'll get mad, which I always say, but I couldn't pick between one of the 3. They're all super important in different ways. I tend to say that these days, for standard gauge, the 4449 is my favorite, but that's about the best answer I can give you. Northwesterner, he was just here. Oh well. If there was one small thing with a snap of your fingers that you could change about the CRRM, what would it be? Goodness. One small thing? You know, not wishing for all of the indoor storage space in the world and a bigger roundhouse and all that. The one small thing is, let me blow the whistle loud, you motherfuckers. It's not the museum that doesn't allow me, but our neighbors we try to be nice to them, and it's reasonable. We're basically in a neighborhood, and whistles are allowed, and they would disturb you all day when we go through a crossing once every 4 minutes. So I understand, but at the same time, when it's the right weather out and you can really rip into it, you get so many echoes going up towards Mount Zion and the M. It's just religious. And we really just can't be naughty with the whistle because we're trying to be considerate to our neighbors. So I wish I could pull the cord all the way, all the time. That would make my day. But unfortunately, not the case. So that's another page of pre-asked questions done. So we're gonna get back to the top chats here. Thank you, folks. Person 723, it's the first engine the NMOT got in 1948, sat outside with no cover or work since it was built in 1900. That would explain the ratty look. IDK, what's going on? When am I coming to the Frisco Silver Dollar line? I have no idea. Zero clue. Someday. It's not on my immediate travel plans list. Goodness. Next year, off the top of my head on the list is like Australia, Poland, Germany, Sweden, hopefully. Those 3 in 1. Which, that's all the big international stuff. Train Mountain Triennial. Maybe see the 2102. Hopefully see the 2926. I was like, what the fuck is that big northern down in New Mexico? Hoping that that all works out. But those are the immediate things off the top of my head that I can think of. So I'm sure that there's more that will pop up. Rails to Fails, you should come check out the COG in Mount Washington in New Hampshire. Their steamers, though rarely run with only 2 still running, are some of the earliest, including the first Hero, aka Old Pepper Sass. I've seen them, and actually they might be on my soonish list, actually, because I got an email from a gentleman who used to work there saying that he might be able to help me out with getting to go film and stuff there. So I've always seen those goofy-looking engines. They're just neat. I would love to come see that. But I need to do videos with Jimmy from the COG at the COG first, because I think if I film at the other COG that's over there before I film at Manitou and Pikes Peak, I think Jimmy will disown me and reasonably so at that. So we're gonna try and not anger my poor friend here. So
I think there'd be animosity from Dusty as well.
Oh, well, probably some, but less so from more from Jimmy. Anyway, Solaris, there's one of the engines has an interesting story involving a boss, and I believe 630. Okay, neat. Middletown Branch, evening high CP office hours. TM, what's the #1 place you want to visit out east? I really want to see the B&O because all of the goofy choo-choos and Sid Meier's Railroads. And I really want to see the 2102 run. Oh, and I really want to go to the WWNF. Oh, and that's on my list for next year. Christ. I think that's actually confirmed that I'm going next fall with Brett and maybe Leighton as well.
What's the WWNF?
The Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington? Is that what that stands for? I think. 2-foot gauge. They're really cool. I hope that I got that right. WWWNF. Let's see. Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington. Yay! Yay! I don't need my friends in 2-foot lands to yell at me for being stupid, but they're such neat engines. Super cool. Yeah. So I really want to get out there. Plus, any excuse to see Brett fold himself up into a little choo-choo is funny. Although I think he said that because the cabs are oversized comparatively, they're actually pretty comfortable. But yeah, I really want to get out there. So lots of places. C. Benz, welcome to the Fireman. Thank you. Quackagate, Fireman 17 months. When it comes to doing something not allowed, better than ask for forgiveness than permission, yank that cord once. I usually tend to be naughty once per steam up if I can. I'll go for one big grade crossing just to get that good feel, but I do hear about it every time. So Shawnee Mission, you also have a soft spot for the QJ because of the IAIS 6988. Can't wait to see it run after its overhaul. They're cool engines. Southern Pacific AC9, I believe. Grand Canyon Trip 1 also have $2. Thank you. Oh, goodness, I've not been to the Grand Canyon in a long time. I've never been to the Grand Canyon Railroad. I really want to, but we'll see. You know, I think I think I've talked with this. My lady friend, hi, she's downstairs. I want to say that she has not seen the Grand Canyon, and she is very into all things rocks. And it's like, you haven't seen the big hole in the ground with all the rocks. So we got to go see it. So maybe we'll put that on the list for next year. Shrug. As if you haven't heard, there's already a lot of stuff on the list for next year. But anyway. So Liv, any interest in seeing Steam in Japan? Of course. Duh. My sister actually invited me to go with her. She's going in like 2 or 3 weeks. She's going to be in Japan for a couple weeks. And I was like, 2 big bouts of international travel is all I'm capable of handling this year. I don't want to do any more. I kind of hate big flights and travel and being away from home for a long time. So that's a bit of a challenge. But Japan, absolutely. And I've had a couple viewers message me from Japan that want to show me some stuff. Stop auto-playing other stuff, Spotify. Cease and desist. I'm sure that that bluegrass is great, but like, you know, continue playing the... Don't cause problems for me. Anyway, it's funny. Terrace and Co., if you're in the EU again, you got to do a round of Czech choo-choos. I know, I need to... There's so many places I need to go. And I'm like looking at it. I've been invited out to Sweden, I've been invited out to Poland and Germany, and it's like, okay, they're all kind of near. Maybe we could do a couple weeks and hit all 3 of those, but that would be quick, and that wouldn't be enough time, and how do you want to do it? And, you know, I'm going to try and keep my trips to 2 weeks or under, because the Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia trip, 3 weeks was a little bit much on my end, so, yeah. Solaris, don't forget about 576, that's true. That's true. I do want to see 576, and I want to go to Nashville again for guitar reasons. Duh. I have 2 custom guitars from a builder that I encountered when I was in Nashville the last time, and yeah, I love them. Anyway, Jordan Freeman, screw the neighbors, they decided to live there. It's great to have that sort of mentality. Unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
That can quickly turn into... The government tells us, no, you can't make any noise. Congrats. No play choo-choos. So you have to play nice because we're technically residential. Is that stupid? Yes, but it is the reality. AD Former, when the 2-foot gauge engine is as big as Montezuma. Bigger, actually, by weight. Yeah. It's actually a fair bit, even. So
yeah, that J&L was, how big?
I think it was like 45 tons. Yeah. 90,000 pounds-ish. Yeah, very different. Okay, YouTube's live stream backend has been crashing so much the past 2 days. It's annoying. AC9, bet you'll be able to say hi for once. Yeah, yes, hopefully we can make that happen. A person 723, you posted a video of a Winton diesel engine running, and engine crew skipped to 30 seconds to see it run. Okay. Try and see if we can watch that real quick. See what all there is. That is a big diesel engine. It's locomotive sized, of course. It's a cool sound. Oh god, they can run it with the covers open. That's goofy to see. And it's idling at like 4 RPM.
You're not showing your screen.
Oh, god damn it. Thank you, Corey. Every time. That's bizarre to see with the covers open. And seeing the rockers do the dance. I've seen that on the EMDs, but that's cool. Thanks for sharing. All right, AJ, I volunteer at the B&O. I could probably get you a peek in the restoration shop if you want. Yeah, that would be great. I really want to get... You guys have so many cool freaking engines. Like, literally, the history of early railroading is there. So, thank you. Yeah, shoot me an email, shoot me a Discord DM, etc. Fuel Fire, I hope the day my drawing becomes real isn't far. It probably is, unfortunately, because one does not build a locomotive in a day or a year or probably even 5 years. But hopefully someday. see, epoxy, I think for the UK, you'd have to break it into many trips since they have a lot scattered through the aisles. Probably the same for Japan. I know that's the thing. Like, I want to do the UK too and hang out with Lori and everything, but it's like, there's so much to see there. I mean, you could spend probably weeks upon weeks in just Wales seeing all that stuff. So, and not even do it justice. And I want to go to the UK for all of my rock and roll reasons. I gotta go to Birmingham, and I gotta leave Mr. Bonham some sticks. So, anyway, that one a little slightly Australian. It's fine. Can't really do the British accent that consistently. Anyway. Okay. Back to the pre-asked questions. German steam locomotive asking a very important railroading question here. Why is a pizza box a square if a pizza is a circle and a slice is a triangle? These are the existential problems we face, ladies and gentlemen. Do I answer?
I've seen square pizzas.
I've seen square pizzas too. Because dough likes to be stretched, and the easiest way to stretch is make it circle. Manufacturing a circle is much more of pain and more expensive than manufacturing a box. And then slicing is the least options to make it triangle. It's the least amount of work. So, PS4 Farmer, what do I think about the BNSF getting rid of the old roundhouse you used to work in? Also, have you ever ran a diesel locomotive? It's a bummer. Interbay was cool. The history of the roundhouse is super cool. That bums me out. Logistically, I understand why they did it. We couldn't get people that could afford to live in Seattle to work for the shop. The poverty line in Seattle, something like then in 2017 was like $75,000 a year, and even making $33 or $34 an hour, people couldn't support a family and live anywhere near the shop. So everyone lived like 2-3 hours away. You know, one way. You know, hour and a half or 2 hours more common. Some people were closer and had, you know, better situations, but it just sucked, you know? So we couldn't get new people, couldn't get new blood in there, you couldn't get locomotives in there that easily. It was a whole pain in the butt, so the fact they moved everything down to Vancouver just makes a lot more sense. So, logistically, yeah. I get it. Emotionally, I'm sad. Okay, from Geneva Railfan 3909, got a couple questions here. Number 1, 346 has the Kenosha incident, 20 has the Blizzard incident. Has 491 had a major adventure as well. This must be either you didn't see the episode of 3/4 Show from last season, or this question was before that. One of the two. 491 obviously had her own snowy adventure that we talked about in the...
I keep forgetting that is my own entrance sound.
Hi, Jake! How's it going? I was like, what in the hell is Oh, okay. It's fine.
Anyway, Mark, I have good news for you.
Oh! Do tell.
You know that thing that you've been yelling at me to fix for a long time?
Oh my god, did you fix the thing?
I have a tentative fix for the thing, so you're gonna be happy.
Yay! No more thing that I can't talk about. Yay! We love this. You should be proud of me. I was doing a thing with another thing earlier, and I was looking at the thing, and I was really mad at how I did the thing the first time, and I know how I would do it better the next time, and it would remove some rising strings from everyone's life.
Welcome to programming.
But I did Leroy Jenkins for the video, so it's worse. Don't look at it.
Also, welcome to programming.
Yeah, literally. Anyways, back to the office hours things, now that I've teased everyone with things I can't talk about. Anyway, second question from Geneva Railfan. What are the most effective ways for a Steam preservation organization to raise money? There's lots of different ways. Again, check out that video we did with Kentucky Steam. Lots of different strategies. Grants are a big one. Try and write and state your case. Make sure that what you're doing and trying to restore has value and is intrinsically valuable and ties in something that makes sense for the area. If you can do that, there's state grants, there's federal grants. You never know what you might be able to get. You get a ton of money that way if you write it well and argue it well. We've gotten grants for locomotives and projects and all that stuff, and that's a great way to get hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's plenty of other business strategies that any nonprofit can do to try and get things out there, but the biggest thing is make sure what you're doing makes sense, is important to the area, and then showcase why that is and make sure people believe it. And the rest will kind of come just with that. So that would be my recommendations.
If you're doing grants and stuff, there are going to be strings attached.
That is true. Grants come with strings, but that's the easiest way to get lots of dollary dues for a kind of historic project. So. And Q3, did any narrow gauge railroads ever have electrified sections or involvement with electric traction railroads? Yes, plenty of places. I mean, when you think narrow gauge in the U.S. and your brain goes to a Rio Grande or an East Broad Top or something, maybe not necessarily, although the East Broad Top does run under the wire at the Rock Hill Trolley Museum, and it's dual gauge and it's pretty funny. But yeah, there's plenty of Cape gauge narrow gauge out there that is all electrified. Like, point at all of the choo-choos in Japan, basically. So, well, other than the Shinkansen, of course. But anyway, I'm going to try and get through this page, guys. 6 more questions, then we're going to get to the top chats again. Of course, thank you guys for supporting me. Appreciate you. Nickel Plate 757, Rail Fan. What is my favorite theme park railroad? Shrug? I don't know if I have a singular favorite. I mean, I have the most touchstones with the Disneyland Railroad, because I've been to Disneyland a bazillion times. That was my dad's favorite place or it still is, presumably. But when we were all living together, of course, before I moved and all that, it was almost yearly we would end up going. So, been to Disney quite frequently. So, that's probably the one. Though, most of them are pretty cool, too. So, well, but Knott's Berry Farm is Rio Grande stuff. But I have more touchstone with Disney, so we're going to say Disney. Anyway. Grigory 423, when Lil Shay was going to stall uphill with 26 cars, you filmed a scene staying on the ground when the cars looked like they're not pulling consistently and smooth, but being jerked in a constant ratio. That is the violent nature of geared locomotives or some internet frame rate camera video compression shenanigans happening on your screen. California vlog number 2, let's say, for example, scene around 1450. Not pulling consistently and smooth or constantly and smooth. Yeah, when you get to slow RPMs on locomotives of any type, you feel those power strokes. And a scale Shay like that was getting down to be on its knees, it will do a stuttering action like that. It's a good question. Good clarification. Absolutely. You'll feel it when, particularly when a locomotive's out of time. I used to ride behind 487 at the Cumbres and Toltec before they retimed it finally, and it was just like, because the chuffs were so out of order. Sabaton Stug, or Stu G, has a derailment ever happened at the museum? Yeah, it's a railroad. That happens. You know, people think of like crazy bad derailments that come up in the news, like anything the Norfolk Southern does. Slow speed derailments happen on any railroad. They just happen to be that way. Knock on wood. I haven't really been at the museum for one. Shrug, knocking on wood again, but yeah, they do happen. Decau is here now. What a good username. What made me the most upset during my time on the railroad? I told one of the 2 times that I was the most upset. That was the 6324 Bolt story. It's a short Stories from the Shop episode. I think the single time when I was the most pissed was when I asked somebody who... I'm good friends with him now. We don't chat all that often, but he was kind of the class clown of the shop. And I didn't get along with him when I was his boss. But he's a great dude, and honestly, genuinely one of the nicest and, I don't know, just most genuine, like, good people that I've run across now that I don't have to worry about managing his ass. But anyway, it was funny. I asked him to do something because he was wandering around doing nothing during shift. Like, he'd finished his task, I came in, and he had been one of the loud voices complaining about how we didn't follow proper process at the shop and that we weren't doing things right and we weren't inspecting and inbound testing locomotives before they'd come in for maintenance. And I was like, hey, look, we can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. I've got an electrician down there already. I need a machinist to inbound it. You're doing nothing. Let's go do this. We're going to follow a process. I'm going to show you that I'm trying to help improve what we're doing and that your voice matters. You've got the time. Let's go do it. and my lead man had panned over the camera. We had one pan to zoom camera at the shop, and it was our own little localized ISR, but he put it over there and was like, "Who'd you ask to go down there? I'm gonna watch him. I bet you he didn't go down there." I'm like, "Dude, you don't need. I don't like spying on people. I'm not gonna try and do this, whatever." And so my lead man had panned it over and was watching, and we get to break time, which is like 8 o'clock, 2 hours left in shift, and we had to stop load testing locomotives by 9 o'clock by a noise ordinance because we were in bougie part of Seattle, basically, which of course that surrounds the train yard. Duh. So we had to put locomotives in a specific location to load test after that. We had a sound isolating cell that helped cut down the noise. And he didn't go, I asked him to do the task at 5 o'clock. He didn't even put the flags up to go get on the engine, and it had become, 8 o'clock and it was break time. After break, it was like 8:45, 8:40, somewhere in there. He comes into my office and is just being a bit of a jackass. He starts playing with stuff on my desk, knocking over pencils and whatever, just kind of starting trouble. And this is the second time, and the only other time I yelled at somebody, and the only time I yelled at an employee. I came unglued at him because it was like, I told you to go do this. You've complained about us not doing this. I've given you the opportunity. I am paying you to do stuff, and you've been fucking off for the last 3.5 hours. I was like, he walked in, and I waited, and he was being a dick, and I was like, so you gonna get, that inbound done? He's like, oh yeah, man, it'll be done, don't worry. And I'm like, how are you gonna get it done? It's 15 minutes till we can't load test, and you've not even put a flag on the unit yet. And he was like, you've been using the camera? And I was like, no, lead man has. I asked you to fucking do it 3 hours ago. Are you gonna do your job or not, dickhead? And then he got all pissed off, stormed down to the service track, tossed a flag on the unit, ran it up to 8 for 2 minutes, stared at a couple things, finished it up, got off the engine, signed everything off that he inspected it and done it and whatever and all that. And I talked to them after shift and I was like, dude, don't bitch about us not following process and then not do your end of the bargain. I was so pissed at him when that happened, but it was just one of those things. So, but again, these days, now that I'm not his boss, I actually do quite enjoy who he is as a person. And, he's actually now management for the railroad, so he gets to deal with his own cluster of that variety. So that's a whole bit of fun. Well, folks, I think I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and then we'll hit top chats, and we'll be back. So I will be right back. Entertain the folks.
Wow, y'all suck at entertainment. Hi, chat. How's everyone doing today?
I'm back. What'd I miss?
Yay, Mark's gone.
Oh no. I've been left alone. Well, with you.
All right, there we go. That's better. So, chat, how has your day been? And or what is your least favorite fruit? Answer either. Answer both.
I think on my own least favorite fruit.
Wow. That's not nice.
Uh-oh, Caboose is here.
You can't say that. Well, I had to come entertain the people.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate you.
I asked them their least favorite fruit.
What was the common answer? What was the least favorite fruit?
Well, they're answering now. It seems grapefruit. Someone's day went poorly. Fruit, what is that? How do you not like strawberries? Strawberries are
Well,
delicious.
strawberries are delicious. Some people, I know that there's a pretty common allergy to strawberries.
Yes, there
So-
are some people.
That could be a thing, but shrug.
I didn't
I
know
enjoy
that.
them personally, but
One of my friends slash past coworkers, past coworkers, is allergic to avocado
oh, that would suck. I love avocados.
I
because
have heard of that one before.
not only do I love avocados, but my favorite potato chips that I would bring to lunch every fucking day were made with avocado oil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess if you're allergic to avocado, if that translates to the avocado oil, that would suck
Yeah.
because that's the highest smoke point. Like that's the oil to use if you're not flavoring, you know?
Yeah, and as long as like I didn't like touch her or anything, like we were fine. But we were both huggers, so it's like, you know what?
Oh,
I'm just not going to chance
that
it. And,
bad. Wow.
If I touch the notebook, then she touches the notebook. Like her hands will react. It's not like she'll go into anaphylaxis.
Right, but yeah, that's still super uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. I'ma just.
Yeah, let's
Avoid
avoid
it.
doing that. No kidding.
Right?
Goodness. All right. I'm going to answer these top chats before chat jumps too far on my end here. So thank you guys for being so kind and generous today. Appreciate you. Jerry does things. If I ever want to learn more about the Eastern 2-foot gauge, the Mount Gretna near Lebanon, Pennsylvania is a must. Most of the rail bed is still traceable via Pennsylvania state game lands, and the turntable pit still remains. That's cool. While we're thinking about historic choo-choo like alignments, Hovey showed me the coolest fucking app out there that he couldn't believe I hadn't heard of. So now, hopefully this doesn't kill this guy's servers, but there's a website called rail.guide. And if you ever wanted to learn about all of the choo-choos in the US historically and now, that's the place to do it. He showed me this when we started looking, and it was amazing. So you can set it a bunch of different ways, but you have the current map, and you can see which railroad's which, and they're color-coded, and that's great, and it's fun. But you can go to classic owners and see who used to own things and where there used to be other alignments, and you can even go to very early owners or current class. There's a lot of settings. If you go to early owners, there's some really in-the-weeds shit out there. Like this. This was the thing that blew my mind where I knew this is a good app. They have the Colorado Eastern out of Denver on this. That railroad had one locomotive and one coach that they made out of a Rio Grande short caboose. That's it. 80th bittiest little railroad, and there it is on the map. Like this app is so freaking cool. But you can look around and you can see, okay, well, where were all the choo-choos? Here's the South Park, you know. There's the connection. There's the Argentine Central up above Silver Plume and the crazy switchbacks they had. If you ever wanted to learn anything about alignments, historic or otherwise, this is a great tool. Is it 100% accurate and perfect? Probably not, but it'll get you a lot of the way there. And you can see some of the crazy crap, like when you get to Buena Vista and up to Leadville, you're like, oh yeah, here's where the South Park, the Midland, and the Rio Grande all tied in, and we're at the same spot. So it's like, well, shoot, now that I have this app, like next time I go driving 285, I just want to use this and be able to see this is where the choo-choos went. And it's so cool because some of it really illustrates some things. Gee, why did they get rid of Rollins Pass and build the Moffat Tunnel? I don't know, because that's some squiggly bullshit. So, such a cool thing. Anyway, you talk about historic alignments, brought that up. Check it out, rail.guide. Anyway, props to whoever made it. It's kick-ass. Anyway, scrolling back up, it jumped. Oh boy. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. Sir Liv, any desire to meet... or it's Sir L the Fourth, isn't it? I'm sorry. I know we've been over this. Any desire to meet Chris Eden Green, either you go to the UK or him come to CRM and Redux Slip USA on the DNRJ Mikados. I would love... Or Steam Locomotives in profile. Yeah, right. I would love to meet Chris. Never managed to somehow. We've been at the same events before, actually, too, but it was before I was really big, I guess, on anything. Because Great Western Steam Up, the channel was still so fresh. But, yeah, I'd love to meet Chris. Shout out. Hey, Chris, your stuff's great. LFDHS or LFDH Slayer 62. Would I come to the Belmont Shore Model Railroad Club? It's in California. It's N scale. Possibly. There's a lot of railroad clubs and train things that I'd love to see, but eventually, shrug. 80 former, if I can't talk about what's in the COS devlog, but can you rate it out of 10 in terms of how exciting it'll be? I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's something that'll be quite surprising for people, at least part of it, but that's all I'm going to say. Tomica Clive, welcome to the Brakeman. Thank you. Glenn Holland, driving to Valparaiso, Indiana this weekend in the name of nickel plate preservation. Not a headlight or a bell or whistle, but it's still cool. Hope you're well. Enjoy, Glenn. All the things are important on the railroad, so glad you're getting that done. Solaris, one thing about heritage equipment is that in the event of unthinkable national emergency, that we can still get a service going. Probably not super likely with how the rest of the org is, but yeah. Anyway, Undead Hooligan, I'll try not to be a dick if you end up at the Colorado Railroad Museum. I would hope not. But thank you. Anyway, Sathael gifting 10 memberships. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then Rex Anger, joke time, 2 Fisher in a tank. One says to the other, I'll drive, you man the guns. Yes. Oh my god, a talking fish. Anyway. V, welcome to the break-in. Thank you. A person, 723, can a locomotive yeet a power assembly? Yes, they can. BNSF bought somebody a house because they threw a power assembly and the piston with the rod still connected went flying out through the top of the car body, crashed through the dude's house and landed on his dining room table, broke it in half. So, yeah, that happens. Piston, let's see. I don't know if I can find the pictures or the article about it, but that did happen. So, yes, that can happen. It's not ideal. Far from ideal, in fact. 94 Chevy just came back out of cornfield getting it ready to harvest with 1 row picker. Did anybody show Lori the latest railroader mod by chance? Probably not, because I don't think he's a channel member. So he probably hasn't seen it, because that video comes out tomorrow for all of y'all who are not members. Remember, if you are a member, you get to see all the videos early whenever they're done. So that video was done yesterday. It's been up since yesterday. And it's, yeah, it'll be, it's tomorrow's video for the public, so. Rollis 3884, I think that's how you say that. What do I think about the Czechoslovakian massive tank engines? I know where this is going. They're freaking neat. The CSD 475. All right, let's take a look. Well, that one's not a tank engine, but it is a big dude. 456. That doesn't come up with anything. Comes up with a stock footage of volleyball players. Oh, there we go. Yeah. God. It's a Berkshire tank engine. It's hilarious. I know that they even have some like 210-4s and stuff that are tank engines. They're super cool. Super cool. I question why, but they're neat. William Adams, 7865. What are my thoughts on narrow gauge on top of standard gauge piggyback, officially known as pick-a-back here at the time? It was operated in Australia, as seen on Discord. It's quite fun. Quite fun. Very neat. We enjoy that. So, yeah. We talked about, I think it was on a Cursed Train stream that came up. That stuff's fun. And she just left. Single tear from Natalbean37. Why am I so cute? I don't know. But yes, that would be the lady friend. She's the cute one. But anyway. Jordan Freeman, 166. Here we are. Okay. If I remember, you and Jersey had a disagreement over whether Norfolk and Western 611 pulled mainline excursions on the Buckingham Branch Railroad. I do recall this. He was very mad at me. I'm with Jersey on saying that she pulled mainline excursions on that railroad last year, but I think the nail in this coffin would be either the legal or FRA definition of mainline to determine who's right. That's a great question. I don't know if the FRA defines mainline. They might define main track. I don't know.
I think they do define main track.
Main track would make sense. Let's look at the CFR. Everyone's favorite riveting topic.
Where is Casey?
Yeah, somebody summon Casey. Okay. FRA, it's chapter 2. What section would that be in? Track safety standards, probably? 213? I'm not familiar with that section, personally.
Either that or dispatching.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Rules of practice, maybe. Special railroad operating rules, operating practices.
I'd
Probably
say
one of these.
Rules.
If we control F main line, nothing. If we control F main track, they do talk about main tracks a lot in the part 213, which is unsurprising. Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to call it main line. I think they're always just going to use the legalese that is main track, so we'll just search for that. Here we go. Oh, there's a definition in part 218. Main track means a track other than an auxiliary track extending through yards or between stations upon which trains are operated by timetable or train order or both, or the use of which is governed by a signal system. Wow, that is really fucking not... That's all of the tracks, pretty much. Well, not all of them, but most of them. Yeah, shocker, the FRA definition is not helpful. Yeah. But there you go. So I guess technically by that definition, Jersey and Jordan, you would be both correct. 2. Well, on the topic of mainline excursion locomotives, what about the 576, the Nashville and Eastern, a short line owned by R.J. Corman? It's 40-mile-an-hour trackage and PTC on the section of their main line that commuter trains run on. Wouldn't that mean when 576 is operated on this section of the line, which it will, that it ran on the main line? I mean, yeah, technically, I guess. I know that we're all too old for this, but Thomas has a special place in all of us. With that stated, do I prefer the Thomas and Friends that use model trains, the Thomas and Friends that was computer generated, or the Thomas and Friends that was animated? I've only ever seen the one that had model trains, because I haven't watched it since I was a child. But yes, so I guess I prefer the one with the model trains. And having heard about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff on it, it's actually really freaking cool how they did a lot of that. We've got a newer appreciation for it. So, Gaming Doggo 66. Why was the RGS able to do so stupid and or illegal ways of transporting and get away for the most part? And why did the RGS have the craziest stories compared to the other railroads at the time? The RGS had all their shit written down. People chronicled it a lot because it was this remote, podunk, little narrow gauge railroad. I'm certain that other railroads had plenty of stories just like this, just like the RGS. The biggest thing that makes their stuff crazy, or not necessarily illegal, but dangerous or whatever, they never had money. And so they were always just trying to get by with the, the strength of their back and all that. Like, that was pretty much it. And so they did what they could with what they had. And sometimes that was a little sketch and not ideal. And because they were so remote, recall that they didn't shut the railroad down in the 40s when they petitioned to possible in the area much of the year. So they needed the train. It was hard to get to. So when it did get some kind of inspection or anything, it's a whole thing. Oh, wow, that just lagged out super hard. YouTube is on the struggle bus today with the live stream stuff. So anyway, I only have one page left of questions. Oh my God, we're getting there. But reconnection successful. Okay. We're here? We're back? I think we're back. I read Rex's top chat about the GE7FDL shooting a PA out. That's the engine that's in a -9 type locomotive. For those of us in the States, I'm sure it's somewhat different in Australia, but the 7FDL was the prime mover in the 90s, basically, before the Evo. Yeah. Those pistons are... they're like damn near a foot across, so, a good 35, 40 centimeters for those metric folks. Yeah, it would leave a big hole. Let's see. USS Salem, did I know the Burlington Zephyr has an IMDb page? I didn't, that's kind of hilarious. Tyler D, working at a tank car shop once, you had the bolts holding down a safety valve break and nearly 100 pounds valve went through the roof. Good times. Holy shit. That's when where you like run and cover for whenever it lands. You don't want to get hit by that. Nathaniel Lombardi, you're getting some pretty bad lag jumps. I'm not sure why. It could be weather or something. Maybe? Shrug? It seems okay now. Thank you for, of course, top chatting that. I was seeing both Stream Elements and YouTube Studio had both told me that it was not working. So, shrug. We're going to try and get through the last of these top chats and hope it's not a DDoS attack by Tristan telling me to work on Century Steam some more. So we're gonna try and get through this last page here and then probably tie up for the night. We've been 90 minutes, so not so bad. And of course we're live again tomorrow night, so look forward to that. Rusty Gear 556, fireman for a year. We'll happily take another lap around the sun. Love everything you do, Mark. Thank you. Cheers to you, my friend. Appreciate that. Oh, yes. Admiral Mustachio. Hey, Hyce, I have a funny story related to an engine that I would like for me to read on stream. Semi-spoilers, it has to do with a bull. You can ping me with when you're ready on stream. Well, that doesn't work because I doubt you're watching because this set of questions was pulled months ago. Sorry, my friend. I guess shoot me the thing another time and I'll try and add it into the rotation here. Bishy Man, Professor Birdman, apologies for multiple questions, but it's been a long while and you're using the autistic superpower of spewing out everything. Goodness, this is actually the last one, and it is 4 questions, and then a little bit more. So, cheers. Thank you, my friend. Even though I'm sadly British, could I elaborate on your joke about how we restore steam engines when it should be a rebuild instead? From what I understand, what I've heard from my friends is that the British will call anything a rebuild if they have an original part. So if all they've got is one piece of the engine and they build all of it brand new, it's a rebuild instead of a new build. That sort of thing. So that's where that joke comes from. So, yeah. Anyway, is that true? I'm not 100% certain, but it does mean that we can poke fun at our British friends, and as former colonials, we do love to do that. So, 2. Why is Hackworth valve gear so cursed to me? Maybe it's because you're immune to it since British Narrowgauge uses it a bit. Reason why is that you say a local railway to me has an engine called Melior 100 this year, which is Latin for better compared to the rest of the class earlier when I think Stevenson instead must have worked since future classes had Hackworth instead. I don't remember what the hell Hackworth valve gear is off the top of my head, honestly. I know it's one of the lesser common ones over here, and honestly, we joke about the cursed stuff, and it's not really cursed, but that is where a lot of that comes from. Valve gear. If I search for valve gear, does it pop up? I want to pull up the valve gear sim. Wouldn't be an office hours stream without us doing this. Okay, yes. Open file location. There we go. Valve gear start. Okay. So let's see. Close that. All right. So Hackworth, only outside admission. Oh, it's this fuck shit. It just looks so weird. That's why. It's goofy. I mean, of course, any valve gear works, right, and does the thing, and they all have slightly different merits. But Hackworth is just strange looking to me. And it's one of the ones that's a little bit harder to understand because it's using more principles of dynamics, using simple things and connections to make it work, which makes it interesting. But yeah, I mean, you look at the motion of it, it is goofy. Yeah, I mean, the kinematics of it are weird. Obviously it works, but yeah, that's a goofy one. So that's where that comes from. Number 3, where does USA whistle code come from? You said it came from the UK, but you've not seen that system used here at all. Every railroad did their own sort of thing in terms of rules and things before we standardized it. I think specifically the fact it came from the UK was specifically just for the crossing whistle, and not from UK Railway at all. It's people have, and this is a bit of a myth, and I don't know if it's true or not. People talk about it being either, oh, you're quarantining the crossing, and so it's Morse code for Q, long, long, short, long. Or some people say it comes from the naval tradition of letting the Queen's ship pass by, because they would whistle the Morse code for Q to say, hey, the Queen's coming, make sure you're out of the way, blah, blah, blah. And that was the salute kind of thing. And then that translated to American railroad practice, because it was, hey, somebody's crossing. You know, it doesn't matter to us that it's the Queen anymore. But that's one of the possible things where it came from. So, anyway. For Cursed Engine, if you have the time, one you always remember as a diesel that your good twin drove called Sweet Pea Courage that you have to hand crank to start. Hand crank diesels, love it. You enjoy the content, best of luck building the baby engine. Thank you. Maybe you'll get a British Heritage spirit here. Fuck it, let's build a steam engine, which you have the habit of doing. Yes, very much so. The British engines may be small, but they are still amazing, especially the 9F and the allegedly fastest steam locomotive. Did you use a dynamometer carriage? I thought so. Of course, he's got to give us crap back. Very fair. And before you finish, you believe one of the Grand Trunk headquarters is in London, if I'm curious. Well, thank you so much. Great comment there from Bishyman, and lots of fun Britishisms to go through there. So that was everything. We can finally start a new list of office hour questions. So next time we do office hours in November, there will be a new YouTube post for you to submit your questions. So look for that and submit your questions there. I try to get everybody's. It takes me a couple months as always, but that was fun. Okay, top chats, and then we're out here, and then I got to get back to Century of Steam things and probably eat dinner. Probably both are important. So anyway, Pacific Productions, can 491 file my taxes? You probably wouldn't want her to, even if she could. So anyway, 94 Chevy, maybe since you did a video on superheated Steam, the trolling dum-dums will stop demanding you to superheat Zuma. Maybe, but probably not. 80 Former, what's the simulator that you pulled up? Link. Oh goodness. And then where can I find the Valve Gear program? We pulled this up on like every office hours stream. How do people still not know about it? I think you can find it on the Dockstader. If you search Valve Gear Dockstader, okay, here it is. The website looks like it's from 1995, but it's pretty good. The link is now in the chat, so click that, and it's got tons of stuff. It's pretty cool. Originally uploaded 2004, so it's an older program, but it's fantastic. Holy shit, guys! The birds are happening. The birds are right at the end of stream. What do you? This is new. Wow. Okay. I've got one more top chat to get to, but then we'll play some birds. Why not? Nicholas Downs, off topic and old news. Has it been mentioned that the technical difficulties has a new season out 3 weeks ago? Sad you missed the 3-year stream. Something busy at work. I understand, very much so. I did see that they posted that new season. I watched part of the first episode, and I haven't had a chance to go looking for the others yet. Busy at work over here. So that's the way it be sometimes. And Nicholas Downs, my man, I'm pulling it up. We didn't start the birds. The birds are broken. Birds have been broken. You know this. You know this to be true. But we're gonna let this play twice, basically. So, Nicholas Downs gifting 50 memberships. Thank you, my friend. Here they come. Awesome. I'm gonna have to redo my scroll early again, I have a feeling, because you people gifting so many members. 147 new members this stream. Good lord, guys. Thank you. And here comes the second one. Jack of Many Things, also gifting 50. Thank you so much. And here they come. Rotate. There we go. Yes. Awesome. Goodness. Thank you so much. Memberships every time. I mean, it's what makes the channel a thing. If I didn't have the members and you guys there, I couldn't do this. So I genuinely appreciate it. So very much appreciate you guys. Two Penny Studios. Hey Mark, hope you've been well. Hey, I probably owe you a DM back, don't I? It's been busy. End of month is always a time. So anyway, and then Nicholas Downs with another 50. My dude, there's a reason you're on my computer monitor. Thank you so much. Here they come! Yet another set of 50. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, dude. I don't even know what to say. I tried to set up my stream deck to play the videos manually when I got to Top Chats, and that was too much in the weeds of like API coding for my dumb brain to figure out, so I didn't do it. But for now, we have the phone. 94 Chevy gifting a membership. Thank you, my friend. And Nicholas Downs with one more. 101 from you today, good sir. Thank you. Goodness. Yeah, I don't know what to say, guys. Thank you so much. But we're just about ready to get out of here. We got one more top chat here from Rex Anger. Burbs for the Burbman, Brakeman for the Caboose Hop. We do need him. Thank you. And one last one from Cedar Valley Rail something. Or maybe that's your whole name. I don't know. It cuts it off. Rail Guide is a fantastic companion. Absolute love road archaeology, even if it's just Rise in the Dirt or even some code line if we're lucky. Got anything noteworthy I've run into in the wild? Most noteworthy thing that we ran into was the stuff we made a video about, finding that wreck on Monarch. I did find, and I have it downstairs. I found a track bolt on Marshall Pass. That's the one find that I've kept. I mean, we of course left everything there because we didn't want to be stealing things. But a little itty bitty rusty piece of scrap iron I did take somewhere on Marshall Pass. Who knows where? But historic Rio Grande rusty bullshit. Yeah. Anyway, Railhog Productions, welcome to the Brakeman, and I think that's going to be all she wrote, folks. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. Great questions, fun live stream, and we'll catch you all tomorrow night for the Hallow stream, the live scream, whichever it is.
Hold on a second.
Uh-oh. From Corey
You
Gibson?
missed one gifted membership.
Did I?
From Nicholas Down.
No, I got his one gifted membership because
No, he did two.
Oh, he did two, and it jumped it out. Okay, 102 from Nicholas Downs. 102, the sequel to 101 Dalmatians. There you go. All right, guys. It's time for food on my end, but thanks so much for watching. Catch you all next time.